And we are finally live. So welcome to this week's live call and workshop and question and answers, everybody. I'm with my community friend Jake or Blake. Jake is a friend of mine. Blake. I'm so used to saying Jake. He's a friend of the family. So this is Blake. Hi Blake. Welcome to this. And if you have any questions, please feel welcome to ask because I know you had some just before we clicked on the record button. So yeah, feel welcome to share, and then we can hop on.
Okay.
Yay. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Owen. If you could just give me like a quick description about what it could be like the risks of having an unhealthy diet, like with too much sugar, too much dairy, caffeine, and 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 I've heard like sort of like the first step is you need to like clean detox your kidneys, and then after
Yeah,
that you can detox your liver,
yeah,
and that will give you a lot more energy.
yeah, big time. So is that's your question, isn't it? And then a minute ago, before we recorded, you're also asking basically about. So this topic, everyone watching, will be also about caffeine addiction. That'll include like both, of course, coffee, tea, um, chocolate or cacao, and yeah, that they be the main ones. The main caffeine, matcha as well. So
Exactly, yeah.
well, pretty much anything can be an addiction and a habit and get out of control. Like everything and anything. There's so many things people use, and we all use different coping mechanisms and ways to get a better life, to cope, and to have energy. So I'm not here to judge anyone, and I'm not here to label anyone as an addict or say somebody's a worse addict and I'm not an addict, or they're worse and I'm better. It's not about that either. It's about everyone from a spiritual perspective and a fair perspective, the truthful perspective that we're all just on a human journey and no one's better than another, and we can't judge or condemn another person's shoes until we actually literally walk in them, which we can't do. So like the Bible says, those without sin cast the first stone, and no one is without sin, which by translation I've learned is about missing the mark. So we all miss the mark, we all make mistakes, we all stumble, falter, slip, fall, and get up again, and no one's better than another person. So just want to be clear on that before we start talking about addiction, because it can be a taboo word, and I'm not using it in a sense where I'm better than others or someone's bad or like dirty or wrong. Definitely not. We're all good, right, and doing our best. So that's just my prelude to getting into both habits and addictions, which we all struggle with, and we all have different ways to do it, and everyone is valid based on our history, which is the reason why we all choose certain coping mechanisms and habits to get through our day with energy or to get through our emotions. So we all cope, and we're all equal in that regard on the same level. And another topic of this workshop and Q&A will be just switching to a raw food diet or sticking to a raw food diet or a raw food diet, like Ra's the god, the sun, what's it called, the god of the sun, raw food, or a sun food. I like calling sun food diet, or at least mostly a raw food, sun food, raw food diet. So we're not being overly strict here or judging, like, as if someone's bad for not eating an all raw food diet either. Same with the whole previous topic of addiction and habits. I have my habits. I've had and I still do have my addiction and habits. So we're all in the same boat. So yeah. Um so yeah, well, like I'll get to your question first, like I think since like you're recorded asking it, because I was chatting with Blake just briefly before the recording. Okay, is that good with you, Blake? Just about what you just asked a minute ago, or where would you like me to start?
Oh, it sounds great.
Cool. All right, thanks. Yeah, like, hmm. Yeah, well, processed food and like coffee and lots of like unhealthy habits, which we can call bad habits if we want, of course. Um, I'm not big into labels, as you can tell. Um, yeah, like yourself, we all of these things like help clog our body, like processed food, like even cooked food leaves a residue for sure. It doesn't have living fiber or living water. So that and it creates new compounds. So it does help sort of to goo up or stick by our GI tract, our small and large intestine. Um, but yeah, like processed food, like that doesn't really resemble anything that grows in nature, like bread and burgers, and whether or not it's vegan or non-vegan, like burgers and like fake burgers and all this like fake meat and all this processed food of any kind, like cakes, cookies, pasta, things made from flour, they're very like gooey and sticky. Dairy is extremely gooey and sticky. Many people, Dr. Morse and other people say, who are experts in iridology and the lymphatic system, say like dairy is the most clogging and acidic on the body and leaves the most like worse residue. It's even worse than cooked meat. So like, yeah, raw dairy would be a lot better, but I personally wouldn't really recommend that or go down that road. But I know some people do. But overall, I'd rather just make plant milks like homemade almond milk and other delicious milks. Um, I have a lovely view of the ocean right now, and I'm holding a little cone that I collected with my toddler. So I just thought I'd bring a little bit of nature into it. So yeah, like it all affects our lymph system, kidney, adrenals. The more stimulants we take, it definitely focuses and affects our adrenal glands. Stimulants tend to be toxins and poisons, and that's why they stimulate us, because the body's revved up to get rid of the toxin or stimulant. For example, like chili peppers, they're fruits, but they're really made for birds, because certain loads of fruits are made for humans, but various fruits are made for birds, and they can be toxic to humans. And various fruits are for humans, but could be toxic for birds. And obviously, there's a big overlap where the fruits are good for humans and birds. But chilies will be a stimulant and it revs up the body. But yeah, the biggest thing in the world that sells, I think, is probably coffee and caffeine in general. So everyone is struggling. Almost everyone is struggling with their health. Almost the most of the people, the majority, want a stimulant to get through their low energy, gives them a temporary high, but then followed by definitely a longer lasting low. And that's in my experience. I've mostly given up chocolate this year. I didn't even realize I was like sort of addicted in the habit of chocolate for so many years, And I think I started out just socializing with my mom, my family, just out with other people. I didn't want to have coffee because it's too strong for me. So I liked sweet things like fruits. So I had the chocolate. I liked chocolate from childhood. So yeah, then I realized like there's definitely an after crash. And the more I gave it up and the more I tried it again, my body be even more sensitive. So that's the same it is with like everything you give up that's not healthy for us, like cigarettes. And cigarettes is obviously a stimulant too. You have the nicotine, and you also you have the toxic element which revs up the body because your body's trying to like increase blood flow and lymph flow to get rid of toxins and to get them expeditedly quickly removed from the body as quickly as possible. Um, so yeah, chocolate definitely has caffeine and theobromine, even whether or not it's general chocolate or like raw chocolate or vegan chocolate or omnivore or dairy chocolate. It's all a stimulant. If it has cacao, it's a stimulant. It's like comes from a very colorful plant. A lot of colorful things tend to be sometimes toxic. Like for example, hemlock has a lot of purple stuff in it, and it is different colors, and it's very most poisonous plant in Europe. So, um, but yeah, a lot of these mainstream things are acceptable, but doesn't mean they're healthy. So yeah, things will affect our adrenal glands, like coffee, matcha, chocolate, and tea, real tea, not like the tea plant. Not I'm talking about herbal tea. Herbal tea doesn't have caffeine, but tea, the tea plant tea, that will have caffeine in it. And almost everybody I know has some form of these, except for my brother recently gave tea up last year after having it like around 5 cups a day for like 40 years or something. And around four of my friends are all giving up coffee. Funnily enough, Blake, four of my friends, like my partner, my wife, and three friends are giving up coffee, and I haven't been giving up chocolate. So we're all doing it at the same time this year, which is really funny. So it's kind of good that this is a topic of this like conversation. It's very popular right now. Yeah, it's kind of funny, So yeah, yeah, you rev up your adrenals, you crash, So yeah, we're all just struggling with energy. So that kind of leads me on if you want to have more energy. Is there any other question you can think of right now, or will I just lead on to just go with the flow and lead on to how to have more energy?
Do you get more energy by doing breath work? Do you do that?
I'm not I don't do it strictly, no, but I try take some deep breaths here and there, conscious breathing, and I'll try be in nature a lot. And when I'm in nature, I try be aware of my breath, so I'm getting in a lot like like proper breaths and oxygenating my body with the fresh air and the good prana and ions from the ocean and just from being up in fresh air up the mountains or in forests, etc. But I do have a friend who does do breath work much more than me, and he really likes it. Yeah, I have done the Wim Hof a fair bit, and it's helped me to sleep, and it's helped me have less tired, tender muscles the next day if I had been exercising, for example. So I must
Uh,
get into it.
uh, can you tell me your own personal experience um, to get your body to that point where you have the kidney filtration?
Oh, that's a big one. I've been talking about kidney filtration, making videos for years. Yeah, kidney filtration is a tough one, you know. Depending on your constitutional strength and your health history this life, how much damage or like how much not like health issues you've had, it really depend on your filtration, you know. Like we're born with either strong, medium, or weak constitution, which means the energy and vitality and strength of our cells, of every single organ, of every single part of the body. Yeah, that's a tricky one. Like I've seen people, I've actually looked at like I've tested the pee, I've looked at the pee of a lot of my family members and a bunch of ex-girlfriends throughout the last 20 years or so, and my own one thousands of times. Yeah, it's tricky. Definitely what helps filter kidney filtration is going to bed early. That definitely helps big time, okay? If you go to
Uh-huh.
bed like 11 or 12 compared to like half seven, 7, 8, 9, you're definitely going to get worse filtration the later you go. They say best sleep and best regeneration of your body happens between 10 and 12. Now, I'm not sure how precisely, like 100% accurate that is precisely, but even earlier than 10, like I know two very successful people who are millionaires, they both go to sleep at 8 o'clock. That's their mark. So I've gone to bed as early as like half 6 when I've been knackered by having my toddler all day. But usually I go to bed when the rest of the family more or less go to sleep, and it shifts and changes. But I've definitely noticed I'm more energy the next day when I go to bed earlier, so, and I get better filtration, a deeper quality sleep and rest. Um, Another thing that helps kidney filtration is definitely going to bed on a very well rested digestive system. So that means basically finishing eating as many hours as you can before sleep. You know, like basically the an idea could be 3 hours before sleep, or even 4 or 5 hours. Like five is probably not going what most people will be able to do, but 2 to 4 hours before sleep you should finish eating, and it's ideal to finish drinking like at least 2, 3 hours before sleep as well. You know, and
Oh, really?
that'll absolutely help kidney filtration. And literally, I've peed in a bottle because I always pee in a bottle nighttime and in the morning to check my pee. So I always like have a nighttime pee and then I look at it, pour it out, and pee in a bottle. I always do that just to see my kidney, how my kidney filtration is going. And I've been doing this for like so many years. So I've literally have tested my pee all throughout the day. Back in the days, test throughout the day too. So I've literally have pee, checked my pee thousands of times. And I've seen the difference between people with like a really strong constitution with little health history, like health hard like health problem issue history,
Yeah.
and people who have had a lot of health problems and weaker constitution. And the people with like much stronger constitution with little health issues in the past, they filter way better. Yeah, for sure, a big difference. So I've had my own health challenges in this life, and I've also been born with like medium constitution. So um yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle for me to get my filtration going properly. It's probably part of the reason why I'm slim, but it's also hugely genetical because part of my body is just simply bad. We're all different, you know. So I know some people who can't, who find it so hard to lose weight, and I find it so hard to gain weight. And no matter how they try so hard, and they sometimes even gain weight. So like everyone, literally, some people are stocky and muscly, and some people are tall and airy, like the fat is, like me and a bunch of other people. So again, it's very easy to judge by like the surface, judge a book by the cover, but that's not, there's much deeper reasons and things happening beneath the surface of people's lives than just quickly looking and judging, you know. So it's nice to have compassion and understanding on each other in all areas and ways, you know.
Um, I have another question. So I will sometimes, if I, you know, like in the morning, if I use the restroom, then I'll also do the enema, and then maybe an hour later or something, if I have to go again, then
Yeah.
it just will see like a small bit of stuff, which is only white or like
Yeah,
clear.
I know.
Is that
That's happened
is
to
that
so many
fungus
people.
or is that mucus?
I think it's definitely mucus, and I picked it up. I've smelled it like with like something like paper or whatever, rolled up paper, and it's you. In the past, it used to be really stinky, but over the years, and it's not just me. I had other people, like friends, do, and they say it's like really stinky mucus. It's just waste. It's rubbish. It's old stuff, like just leaving your intestines. Even recently, I had a friend, and he did 2 enemas for the first time in a long time. He just did like 2 enemas in a row until it was
Yeah.
all the water was clear. And he said like he just felt amazing. He felt so good. Like he was really happy and more brighter and cheerful for the next like good few days. or longer. He's just in a much better mood. He's still having like a high percentage of raw, which is cooked in the evening, or maybe sometimes cooked in the afternoon. He's not overly fussy, but most largely raw, raw vegan. But he said his mood was so much better, and he admitted to me like sort of that he'd been sort of cranky and a bit grouchy and grumpy and bad moodish sort of. And it's just again, it's congestion, dehydration, toxins in your intestines. And he's eating pretty decently. Like most people think he's eating amazing, but that's why most people aren't eating like mindfully. They're just going around like a little bit like zombies, and they're getting sick, and they will have a far worse mood and health. So he's up there in the middle, sort of, so to speak. And when he cleaned out his intestines, he felt a huge difference, and he admitted he was definitely felt a weight of like dark, like just grouchiness and darkness.
Yeah.
Like so, it's I've noticed that too. I don't do enemas anymore at the moment, but I will do, and I'd be happy to do it. Just don't have the time, or I'm just so busy. I'm always on the go with like children and a wife, and busy home life and work life. But and I've had that experience many times. But as I've been cleansing my intestines throughout the years and sticking to mostly or largely or an all raw food diet for different periods of time, and I've basically been all raw like this year with with the exception of a few oat bars.
Uh-huh.
um, but yeah, just the best I've ever done it, and it's been easy, it's been effortless. Um, if I do an enema now, and I checked like a few months ago, like if I check out that little piece of mucus, and after like an hour after you do an enema, then a little bit and mucus comes out. It's not even real, like no poop or anything, just mucus. It doesn't really smell of too much of anything anymore. Whereas in the day it's very smelly. So it just goes to show like detoxing takes a long time. It literally takes years to clog your body and detoxify your body, and it takes years to clean out your body. So it's just like cause and effect. It's just the way the workings of the world. Um,
Uh-huh.
so I hope that
I was
answers
wor- yeah, I was worried maybe it was like a fungus or something.
you know, I'm not saying you didn't have a little bit of candida or fungus or whatnot. It could have been in there, but I'm pretty sure if you investigated, it would have been mucus.
Okay.
Mucus is just medium. Mucus is is a human rubbish bag that the body makes. So it's a
Uh-huh.
slippery, wet rubbish bag. It's just like when we collect trash in our house. We don't like just throw it all over the house. There's rubbish and trash
Okay.
and compost everywhere. We have it in a bin. Our bin is mucus. It means it gets contained, and it's not a dry, like pokey surface like sandpaper or like a bag. It's a slippery, soft, jelly-like substance which toxins are stored in, and it means if we can clear it out and get it out of the body easily because it's in a wet, slippery surface that slips out of the body and goes out of our elimination channels via our
Mm.
snot. Like you ever wake up with stuff that's based on mucus. Then there's like snots or boogers as they call them. There's phlegm. There's mucus from your poop, like in your stools, whatever. And then also like females have like vaginal like mucus excretion as well, or secretion. So it's just
Yeah.
always the body was always trying to clean itself. It always wants to be clean. And that many people say detoxification is the number one like method of healing and strengthening and energizing the body. And it is the number one. We do have to, I do feel in many ways we have to also nourish as we go along our journey, depending on what stage of power we're at. But yeah, detoxification is the most important. It's a bit like if you have a home, space is the most important to put nice stuff in. If it's completely cluttered and you're trying to bring in new furniture, there's no room and it doesn't work properly. It doesn't fit. There isn't a proper flow. We need like blood, lymph, and nerve flow. And raw foods, sun foods will definitely help with that. And certain cooked foods are much better or worse than other cooked foods too. So yeah, some foods are much more designed for the body and some are less designed for the human body. So I hope that helps there. And if you want, I can also go on to like other things that like have helped me have more energy and help filtration or more energy as well. Because I didn't get all the points.
Oh, yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so early nights, intermittent fasting slash finishing, won't even call it that if you don't need to, but just finishing eating and drinking earlier, especially eating. It's okay. It's
Mhm.
like eating and drinking might make you well. Eating is going to really interfere. Eating too soon or going to bed on a heavy digestive system is going to really interfere with your sleep and filtration and overall cleansing and healing of the body during your sleep. So we want to go to bed like basically almost hungry, where we feel like we're almost tempted or want to eat. That would be optimal, or at least even if we weren't hungry, just really super rest the digestive system where we feel completely empty and light. Like I've done that many times over, and I feel almost energetic going to bed, or hungry or tempted to eat, and that would be by far my best waking up feeling the next morning, where I'd wake up feeling great and I need less sleep.
Uh-huh.
The more we eat in the day, the more we eat late, especially, which is probably the worst habit we can have, and going to bed late, then you're going to get a wake up more sluggish and slow and tired, and less energy throughout the whole next day. If you get a really good sleep, you could and can and should really have energy all day long the next day. So I'm still working on that. I'm not perfect, but I've definitely practiced this. I've learned about it, and I've have experience with this. So those two things are the main ones. So to have more energy is, yeah, if you drink too late, you're going to wake up going peeing, and then that'll interfere with your sleep, your deep sleep, and you may even find it hard to go back to sleep if you wake up needing to pee a few times. So that's why it's also important just to have a complete rest as much as possible. So then there's the whole thing about what to eat and how much to eat in the day. The more we can listen to our body is the most optimal.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the more we listen to our body. So that's a tricky one. We've been conditioned to like finish our plate, etc. Like don't leave a plate because people in a third world country might be hungry and they'd love it. But that's not really practically going to be sent to them. So it's better not to harm our body as much as possible, or at least overburden our body by just being too divulgent for pleasure. And I know that's really hard. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying anyone should be perfect, but I'm just saying bear this in mind and explore and experiment with it. And know all animals in nature, they all, like literally all animals and insects eat a raw sun food diet. Pachamama,
Mhm.
Mother Nature food. It's nothing that they mix up, prepare, or cook. So the simpler we eat and eating raw living food we eat, it really is. I don't want to be a fanatic, and I'm not a fanatic. I used to be a fanatic, and it got me into massive trouble with things. I was completely disconnected from my body and very mental as a kid. Um, but yeah, like just bear it in mind. Like if you're going to eat cooked food, I just overall recommend vegan food, plant-based food. But even if you're not going to do that, or even if you are going to do that, the best food to eat would be more wet food, like soups, like that type of stuff,
Mhm.
raw, liquid soups, teas, drinks, smoothies, juices, just wet food. If you eat dehydrated dry food like bread and buns and cakes, cookies, and it just really doesn't fit well with the body, and it also feeds Candida. So, Candida loves flour and processed sugar, and Candida oil is the worst thing for Candida and diabetes because it creates a massive roadblock in the bloodstream, which stops the insulin receptors cells from sucking in the glucose from our food. So
Ah,
whether or not it's fruit sugar or like processed sugar, the worst thing you want to do in general is have a high fat diet because it's going to really oil up and slick up your bloodstream, and it's going to affect your lymphatic system as well. But that's why people like get off diabetic stuff that they're taking by simply switching to a low fat diet. Like there's fat in everything. There's fat in this. There's fat in bananas. There's essential fatty acid building blocks of the big concentrated fats. We don't need to be sucking down oils and concentrated fats like avocado, olives, or durian in the raw food scene. They're all fruits, or we don't have to be having like oil and butter and in
ah,
what we don't have to. All nuts and seeds, of course, like they're all very high in fat, much higher in fat than protein. So that if you
yeah,
want to,
that's
same with Candida.
I'm
I've people getting off by just eating only fruits with no fatty fruits for a week or two or three or four, to off all the medication from type diabetes that they haven't been able to get off in decades, like 30, 40 years of Candida. That's all you got to do.
really,
That's all you got to do. Yeah, definitely. I know so many people who've done that. So yeah, and people even who've tried like Candida herbal cleanses. If it's not like low in the fat and high in the fruit overall, it's a miserable diet. A lot of Candida diets, and it's not sustainable, and miserable, and it's
uh-huh,
not sustainable because it's for physiological and emotional mental purposes. The best thing to do is to see the fruit-based, low-fat, raw vegan diet, in my opinion, and it's 100% guaranteed success. You're going to free up your bloodstreams, good flow, good lymphatic flow. Not only will you feel amazing in general, like much, much better and have more energy, you get loads of nutrients and anti-inflammatories and antioxidants and minerals, but you'll definitely get a better sleep for sure on a low fat diet and a high fruit diet, and you're gonna like definitely get rid of your candida. Massive, brilliant. It's easy to do. You know, people do it. Even if you just switch an overall raw food diet with small amount of concentrated fat, without being so 100% strict about it, you will get the
Yeah.
results of flour, but you will get the results as long as you don't go like too high or like the fats, the concentrated fats every day. Watermelon has essential fatty acids. Everything does. So yeah,
Oh,
and all of this will help with caffeine addiction and chocolate addiction because. So will I get onto the whole like caffeine addiction, and energy, or anything particular on your mind that you'd like to ask, Blake?
uh, I don't know. I'm wondering, do you think I should maybe try for start on Friday to do maybe I can just say I'll do 3 days juice fast, but then I'll have the option to continue. What do you
Yeah, you know,
think?
it's always a good idea to do a temporary thing because it's like you get a feeling for it, and then you know what that feels like. And if that feels good, then you know it's there in the future that you can go back to it, you know?
Yeah,
And there's no big deal or pressure on yourself. You don't have to call yourself a name or label, oh, I'm a juicitarian. You have an experience, and experience is everything. We can all read things or hear things, but until we have an experience, it doesn't really mean too much to us. You know,
right.
once you walk the walk means something to you. You know exactly what you're talking about. You know, that's how I have the school community now, and I teach about like relationships and higher vibrational relationships and soulmate type of relationships and healing your health and conscious parenting because I have like loads of experience in it now. So even if you stuck to a raw food diet for like a week or two, I'd recommend like the longer you can do it, the better. But even if you just did it for like a week or two or three or a month, just test out like the raw food diet and make sure you get enough calories, like eat enough fruits and then have enough salads so you're satiated. And have enough nuts and seeds. That's my little quick recommendation. How to succeed in a raw vegan diet is have enough nuts, seeds, fruits, smoothies or juices. You don't have to have the juices, but to succeed in a long-term diet and a raw vegan diet, enjoy it to be satiated, you need to have enough calories and slow down your detox enough that you're not overwhelmed with cravings. So I don't have any real
Mm.
cravings these days except for like raw foods, you know. Even sometimes I might crave soaked oats. It's a bit heavier and denser and calorie rich because I add in bananas and dates, you know. So
Yeah.
like I don't crave like bread, potatoes, like pasta, cookies, or like ice cream, or like I might have like nut cashew based ice cream occasionally, but not very often. And I'm not against it, but I just don't happen to have it. Sometimes I just buy it in the shop. So yeah, like even if you did juicing for 3 days or whatever, or if you did raw food, or if you only ate fruits, for example, for like 3 days, you will get a gist after even one day how light it feels. Even less than a day, you could feel by afternoon time of just having fruits. Um, or even the end of the one day, you just could feel amazing. You have lots of energy in the evening. You don't feel like really heavy and tired, and that's just basically from the food typically, unless we've done massive amounts of exercise that we're not used to, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just try it out. Like I think even in business, what I've been learning from my teacher or mentor, like attempts wins. Making more attempts will help you make more money, gain more customers, have more success. And it really applies not only money and every business and career, it applies to health, it applies to everything. Like if you try and build
Uh-huh.
Lego as a child and you just try once and you fail and give up, you've failed, so to speak. But like if a human tries to build a big Lego, I don't want to like talk about it like children as if children are amazing. I love children with all my heart. They're absolutely incredible. Amazing teachers, beautiful souls, absolutely. But like if as an adult, if anyone who just tries one or two times, we're never gonna get very far. But you gotta like keep making the mistakes and they're learning experiences. You need to keep putting more feet forward and making more attempts. Eventually you're
Right.
gonna succeed. There's a super famous quotation. I'd rather be more original, but the whole Edison thing, like how do you feel failing 10,000 times to create a light bulb? You probably heard it, right?
Yeah, but I can't remember.
Yeah, like how does it feel to fail 10,000 times creating a light bulb? And he said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I succeeded in learning closer and closer every single time I didn't do it. So I learned 10,000 times. I succeeded. I made progress, basically, you know. So
Uh-huh.
attempts. Keep trying, trying, trying. And don't be disheartened if we don't succeed and realize our goal immediately. Just keep making improvements. Even if it doesn't seem like an improvement temporarily, at least you've tried and learned something new and you can make a new attempt with something a bit different. So that's what it's all about in everything, including diet. Keep learning. Learning is essential for everything, including relationships. We need the knowledge coupled with the experience to gain the wisdom and the accurate, correct knowledge to succeed in anything in life. So yeah.
For yeah,
Keep
and I think there's one astrologer. His name is Ernst Wilhelm, and he said people when they get stuck with, if they can just do one little thing to improve themselves, that will maybe like just get the momentum rolling. Like just clean your room or clean your kitchen or something like that. Something simple like that will just get things rolling, you know?
Oh, that's nice. I like that. Yeah, just something positive that makes us feel a little bit better. Yeah. Get in the positive frame of mind
Uh-huh.
and action. Yeah. So yeah, also things that getting back to earlier, things that help filtration apart from those most important things I said is like that's how going to bed early as possible, eating and drinking as little as possible before sleep. So getting your food and drink earlier in the day. And then another thing is obviously is what you eat. And other things to help filtration is the less concentrated fats we add in our diet. So the less concentrated fats I've noticed definitely helps the lymph system to flow better. So circulation and flow goes with everything in life, including our lymph system and blood. So what we want
Yeah.
in the human body is healthy. We don't want stagnation and blockage because that creates obviously like heart attacks or stroke. That's blockage.
Uh-huh.
Um, but optimal health, energy and well-being is related to circulation. A circulation means delivery. Blood circulation means delivery of oxygen to all of the little cells everywhere, even the small ones far away with tiny capillaries. Blood
Yeah.
circulation is optimized by eating fruits and less concentrated fats. So we can just,
Okay.
we don't have to be 100% strict. So you're getting more better flow, and that means more nutrients from the food and more oxygen to the cells and nutrients. So that's brilliant. The cells love that. And what another thing when we delivery in better circulation by less concentrated fats and less starch, like cooked starch is really like sticky too. Like I'm not just all about fats. Like cooked animal products and animal products that have like fat in them too, they'll have that they aren't optimal. So like raw food helps circulation, you know. Cooked food it tends to be stodgy, especially all the stuff that has calories, like complex carbs like bread, pasta, and all the fatty things like animal products like cheese, milk, dairy, they're all like very congestive and sticky and dehydrating. So yeah, yeah, you'll have better lymph delivery out of the body. Like, so you want nutrient and oxygen delivery to the cells, and then you want delivery of the waste via the lymph system out of the body by having a low fat, low starch diet.
And you saw your eyes become more bright?
Oh man, 100%. I have like pictures from like around 20 years ago, 10 years ago, like a few years ago, this year. Should see the
Uh-huh.
differences. Yeah, massive difference. They're all much brighter
Okay.
and bolder now, and they used to be much more like cloudy, and you couldn't see. Things have been
Uh-huh.
revealed and shown more in my iridology, and they used to be more like browny, yellowy, even a tinge of maybe a tinge of green, especially like yellow and yeah, definitely huge, huge, huge difference. I've documented that in videos and Facebook posts on my YouTube channel and Facebook
Mm-hmm.
and Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive actually. So it just goes to show proof is in the pudding. Not only do I feel better and gain and have more energy, and in this year alone on a raw food diet, I've gained at least 3 kilograms, bare minimum 3 kilograms, which is around 7 pounds, which is around
Uh-huh.
half a stone. So basically speaking, for me, that's amazing. Like my friend the other day, I haven't seen him around 3 weeks. He said, "Hey, have you gained muscle? You look more muscly, more toned." And it's just only muscle I've gained. It's just from doing exercise with my children. I'm literally
Uh-huh.
doing a minimum amount of exercise. Like I'm not doing any real formal exercise. I do maybe 10, just to be 100% clear and transparent. I do maybe around 10 push-ups a week maximum. For many weeks, I didn't do any push-ups. So
Mm-hmm.
less than once a week. Every 1.5 weeks, I do 10 push-ups. And I do very little ab work, barely almost nothing, like simple stuff, almost nothing. I haven't done any sit ups or crunches in months, but I just do simpler, basic stuff. like leg raises or like just bending over, like, like just very simple ab stuff. And I just pick my daughter who's 15 kilograms a lot and carry her around and play with her. I do trampolining with my children. I walk up mountains a lot, like Brayhead. So that's good for the glutes, hamstrings, and calves. So
Yeah.
yeah, and picking up kids is good for maybe the shoulders. And sometimes I hang from the monkey bars
Okay.
in the playground and do some pull-ups there. So I do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't literally gained because my health issue and my constitution and just my genetics being very slim, like my mum and my granddad. I literally gained no weight in around 20 years. So to gain suddenly on a raw food diet, a raw vegan diet, like half a stone or 7 pounds, 3 kilograms in space of just like three months, it's amazing. So I'm really happy with that. So that's pretty success. And the iridologists confirm it. Yeah, it's really good. So each to their own. I'm just saying this is what works for me. This is what I like. If people don't want to eat a plant-based diet, they don't have to. I think whatever will be, and we just surrender to what's out of our control, and we just count our blessings, and we just get on with our own
Yeah.
life, and just try and be, just respect or other people as much as we can. No matter what the differences are in general, obviously. It depends, like, it's a complicated subject. Some things we find terrible with other people, like if it's in a war or bullies or really severe things. And sometimes it's like not a big deal. And we just try and like not to be a mean person who's like fighting with other people. I don't like to spend or waste my time arguing with people about anything on the internet or even in real life. Don't bicker, debate, and fight about like veganism, even though it's definitely my preference. I've been eating a vegan and mostly raw vegan for 18 years. But that's me. That's my soul path, and everybody has their
Right.
soul path. So
No,
you never know.
yeah, I'm vegetarian, but just I do eat a lot of bread.
Yeah.
I love it with a lot
Um,
of butter.
yeah.
And then my wife cooks a lot of vegetables in oil, uh,
Cooked oils
fried.
aren't the best. Yeah, it's much better just make if you're making soup or vegetables. It's much better just cooking water from a health perspective. Not
Sure.
nothing personal. 100% not. And it's beautiful that your wife's so kind, loving to do that. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But just really
Yeah.
from a physiological standpoint, what the organs would like, they don't like cooked oil at all. Like it's pretty harsh substance. And a lot of
Yeah.
people actually don't recommend, like they recommend against, like they warn against or recommend against, don't use like cooked oils. Raw oil is way better than cooked oil for sure, 100%. Even that should be used in moderation because basically close to 100% fat.
Right.
But yeah, and yeah, bread is like definitely very addictive. They say there's opiates in like grains and wheat, similar to like I think it's similar to like just like heroin or they say like dairy is harder to give up than heroin. Some people say anyway. Don't what they say cheese because it's concentrated milk has like there's opiate like substances in cheese, and I think
Yeah.
substances in a lot of grains. And the reason why there is because the whole thing about like children and parenting and mothers and breast milk and everything else, and that's what milk is breast milk from an animal. There's things in there that affect our hormones and neurotransmitters. So we'll go back to the mother instead of just like wander off. So there needs to be something there to draw a new baby back. That's what oxytocin is. It helps draw a baby or a toddler back, or even just like human adult hugs. We love it. We get like hits of dopamine and neurotransmitters, from various things. But
Right.
cheese, like concentrate, is like the drug version. The same way cocaine is super concentrated from the cocoa leaf. The cocoa leaf isn't addictive though. But the more you concentrate something and make it unnatural, the more physiologically addictive it is. So yeah, bread also really good for feeding Candida. They love it. It's like lovely food for them. So if you're having bread and processed like carbohydrates or cooked carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates, fruit, simple carbohydrates, different. You're having complex carbohydrates dumped quickly into the bloodstream. Fruit, because of water and fiber, is delivered slowly out of your stomach into your bloodstream. But dry, like cooked carbohydrates, like cookies, bread, pasta, doughs, cakes, and all that sort of stuff, it goes into, there's no fiber or water to make it go really slowly leaving your stomach. So that's called
Oh,
glycemic load. You're gonna have a big punch of sugar into your bloodstream.
yeah.
That's different than the glycemic index, which is the amount of overall like glucose or sugars in a food. But
Right.
glycemic
Right.
load, quickly it just like suddenly loads up your bloodstream by leaving how quickly it leaves your stomach. So yeah, cooked all those things I just said, like cooked carbohydrates and all that, complex carbohydrates, coupled with like fats. That's like a recipe of big party for Candida. So yeah, if you And bread is very addictive. It's better to just try and substitute. So if you ever try and get off something that's addictive, because that's part of the topic of this video, is definitely substitute. So like substitute it for something else that you like, and that'll help your brain and your body and your neurotransmitters to feel more satisfied and content. Even from a
Hmm.
psychological point of view, you don't want to feel like you're a loser. I'm a sad loser. Now I can't have this anymore. We want to think, have something else to do that's healthier and get inspired and be happier about your decision, where you feel positive self-image and
Yeah,
self-talk. Like you made
right.
progress, you've done something really good and cool. You've done something awesome and you're proud of yourself. That type of feeling instead of like, oh no, look at me, I'm miserable, I can't have this anymore. Always
Uh-huh.
substitute. Even if you want to like substitute like coffee for matcha or tea or chocolate, then have
Yeah,
less of them. Let's substitute them for maybe less or weaker, milder version, like less in it, less
sure.
concentrated. And then maybe substitute that for eventually, like let's say your favorite herbal tea, like chai latte,
Yeah.
or lion's mane, etc., 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 or a smoothie or a
Uh-huh.
juice, or dates and nuts, or like dates, nuts, bananas, like that type of thing. Something delicious that you like and enjoy. Just something like
Yeah.
that. Treat yourself. That's how you give up addictions, physiologically and mentally, emotionally, basically speaking. Same with everything.
Right.
Anything you need to do whatsoever, try and get clear on why you're giving it up. Have a goal, have a clear goal, like how you like to be. More energy. I have much more energy now that I've given up chocolate. Like 99% given up chocolate this year. Much more stable energy. Much
Uh-huh.
better. And I noticed the minute I have like some chocolate, definitely feel tired the next day. It's something, it's
Oh,
just the high you get is much lower, much shorter than the low you get. Just
yeah.
not worth each to their own. We'll all work through this in our own time. I can't
Yeah.
fix anyone. Nobody can fix me. I can't tell you what to do. You can't tell me what to do. And we're all going to find our way eventually in divine timing. So, like, we just got to, like, surrender, do our best, and support each other as much as we can. Kindness is the language of angels, and kindness is spirituality in action. And yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. And knowledge is super important too. The reasons behind everything.
wow.
That's what's
Very
happening
good.
now. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Blake. Lovely to chat with you today. Um, and everybody will be watching this in the future.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anything
I
else
appreciate.
before you might need to go, or is
Uh,
that everything?
no, no, but I sincerely appreciate the time you took, and we'll meet again next week.
Yeah. Really lovely pleasure.
And then I think I feel good. Uh,
Yeah.
I didn't drink coffee for 1 week, although I'm drinking a little bit of tea. So
Wow.
let
Well,
me see if I can report maybe a few days no tea back to you.
yeah, man. Wow. Fair play to you. That's like a huge accomplishment already. Like, so now it's you and my wife and four friends or three friends, I think, who are all like having a big shift away from coffee at the moment. They're trying to give it up. And yeah, wow. Well done. It's in
Okay.
the air. I'm giving up chocolate too. So it's in the air.
All right, let's do it.
All right, my friend. Lots of love. Thanks for connecting. A pleasure to be here. And have a lovely day. And I'll talk to you soon.
All right, you too. Thanks.
See
See
you,
you.
Blake. Bye bye. See you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye bye. So yeah, that wraps it up. It's almost on the 55-minute mark. Thanks for everyone watching this one. Hope you've enjoyed. Hope it's answered a lot of your questions. This is a live recording, but if anyone would like to have like future lives, there's all you need to do is go to the classroom section or go to the link beneath any future workshop and Q&As, which will be in the calendar section of my community here. Soulmate and relationship mastery, which also has side tangents of conscious parenting and also health and diet mastery. So yeah, if you want to like hop on and be with me live, then you'll basically have um you'll basically have you'll be in there for the live call and you can ask your specific questions and answers and hear other people's specific question and answers. So you will get to tune in and be close to me, work close to me, work with me, and we'll be able to answer your questions on a whole variety of subjects to help you prosper, thrive, and feel like happy and lovely and in your life to overcome your obstacles and roadblocks so you can get closer every single day, step by step, moment to moment, to actualizing and realizing and creating your dream and preparing for your dreams and taking action on your dreams to realize and to become into reality. And I want that for you. I want you to succeed and be happy. I'm rooting for you, as I say to everybody. Well, not everyone, but I say to some people and try to remember, and it is in my heart. I'm rooting for you. I want you to succeed and grow and prosper and advance and to evolve and to expand as a human, as a soul in human form. So you live your happiest life and your highest timeline of what can be possible for you in this lifetime. You have the power, and if you watch this in the first place, you're definitely in the right place. You're in alignment vibrationally with proximity to your goals and dreams, and yeah, you're in the right place. So in future workshops, there will be a link where you can just simply click on the link to upgrade to full membership for $49 per month, which is really, really affordable, based instead of having like more one-to-one direct working with me specifically, which is possible for people who want to direct, more direct, more deeper, the fastest, easiest, and happiest, and more harmonious, fun, and enjoyable way to overcome their roadblocks and realize their dreams. There is also the high ticket offer, which is much more expensive than just this simple one for the bigger community. Okay, so yeah, it's also once a week, which is brilliant. So, yeah. Other than that, of course, anyone watching this, of course, you probably know you already have 11 video courses for free, and 2 free books as well that are written for free, and the community. And you'll see all the courses and the 2 books in the classroom section, which is just next to the community section in the top left. So yeah, wishing you all a beautiful day. Lots of love and blessings. Thanks for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it. And see you again next time. Blessings and love, my friends. Take care. Let's end this.